I've made a couple videos about this series already, but I just finished book two of Sin Eater, the Iconoclast trilogy. And the third book, the backing on Kickstarter, just finished. So I'm waiting for that to eventually get delivered, probably like 7 months from now, 6 months from now. And I'll wait. I'll be patient, you know? But my God, this book series is amazing. Like, I know I could just, the third book's out. I could just read it right now. But the way that I do personally for books is I buy the special edition books and I read the special edition books because I want to read it with those, you know, few pictures in it, because I feel I don't really like comic books where it's constant pictures and a little bit of words, but I do like when a book has like, 7 or so pictures of like major scenes in the book. I really think it brings out the novel as a whole. And so each of these books is about 500 pages, and they have, in each special edition, it has the book itself plus a short story. And the short stories add so much because it's not like super, like, if you miss it, you're missing out on major plot points in the story, but it adds like this nice, it's like sprinkles on top of a sundae. It just adds like amazing, right? And and it's usually about characters, about side characters in the books, and so you get their perspective on things and what's going on with them during the events of the main book or something preceding the book itself, the events of the book. And I just love this book series. This book series, if the trilogy, if it ends with Idol's Fall the way I think it's going to end, and that's not to say, because there has been some plot twists in this book series where I'm like, no way, like that's awesome. And if it ends the way the other two books have been, I this can easily be in my top 10 trilogies of all time, because I it's so good. The setting is very dark. The I would say it's almost kind of like a mixture of Dark Souls, and if you've ever played Dishonored, it's kind of like that. Not so modern day as Dishonored is, but um, similar in that regard. And this book is amazing. The characters, the way that Mike Shell does these characters is stupendous. Like, I literally cannot describe it any other way. I don't want to just keep saying amazing. Like, the characters are so well thought out. You have Ulrich Monteo, who is the main character of the first book and one of the main characters of the second book. And he is a 50-year-old man who is having to deal with PTSD, and he has to deal with a lot of problems that happen in his life. He has to deal with suicide. He has to deal with accidental death. He has to deal with murder. And a lot of stuff happening to him in his personal life in that regard. And so he's basically a broken man trying to rebuild himself. And I love that every character is so well thought out, to include the side characters, their personalities, their weaknesses. And the way that Mike Shell brings it out is by giving them these tasks that they end up encountering, basically like sorcery or different gods throughout the book, that they get, like, those weaknesses get brought out naturally. There's not this whole like dialogue of this is why I'm weak, this is why I'm strong. It's like, no, events happen, things get brought out, and then either the characters have a discussion on the event, which gives you bits and pieces of the different story aspects and people's past, or you have things happen where they end up hallucinating because of the powers of, the Jiao or the gods, and that ends up coming out naturally that way. And so the characters get actually a pretty good amount of fleshing out. And then you have new characters that get introduced in the second book, and they get fleshed out as well. And it's not a complete 100% swap of characters, but some characters kind of fall back a little bit and other characters get more shine that were in the first book. And so, but you end up with this really interesting cast of characters without needing to introduce a whole bunch of new characters. And so, I don't know. I really like it. I like the setting. I like the plot. I like the characters and the dynamics that they have with each other. I like the magic in the area because it's not, the magic is based off of the people's prayers to their individual gods. So people who pray to Pember have divination skills. People who pray to Marcator are, warriors, and they're very strong. People who pray to Baloo, which is the kind of like the overarching god and the god of healing, they are priests who can heal people. They can, put back these evil sorceries. And there's also necromancy, which is not really pleasant and not really liked in the world, which makes sense. But there's just so much, and the world is not so big either. Like, there is a good map that you can see in one of my previous videos that describes the world, but the world, even though it can look kind of big when you're looking at the picture, it doesn't really feel that big, especially because you have characters from all across the different places on the map. And so each of them brings their individual personalities from those places, stories from those places, and sometimes you even encounter some of those places on the way. And so the first book basically takes you up the middle/left side of the map, and then the second book takes you up kind of like the right portion of the map. And based off of the second short story, it's probably going to take us to the north, and then you're constantly bouncing back and forth in the southern part of the map, which is Bodun, and that's the capital of the entire empire. And this book cannot get enough praise. It was part of Mark Lawrence's contest for SPFBO, self-published fantasy book contest in 2018. It won runner-up for the first book, Aching God. And I can see why. I can see it's just really, really good. And I think that not enough people are talking about this book. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about this book. And now it's possible maybe some people did a while ago, back in 2018, but I haven't seen any videos like it. And so it's criminally underrated and not talked about enough. And I think more people need to read this book.